Jay, I think Jay, do you hate my kids at this point?
I hate your lack of power in your family relationship. I just
None.
don't get how you can't say,
Literally.
like, I'm the dad, everyone be quiet for an hour. I still don't understand that whole dynamic.
I don't know how it would actually work though. If you think about it, I usually now that I don't go to work anymore, but if I did go to work, not in non-coronavirus times where I don't always work from home, I'd get home at like 6:30, 7 o'clock. I've got to eat dinner, put the kids to bed. I can't delay the kids' bedtime because of the show.
But can't you say, like, go play for an hour? Because
I
I
know, but by the
said
time we're done
so.
with the show, it's going to delay the bedtime. We got stuff to do with the kids also. They got to like read before they go to bed. They want to play a game.
Like, there's other people in the world who have kids and somehow do a podcast.
Really?
Yeah,
Are you just saying that because like there's 6 billion people that have podcasts right now? So it's just like statistically, it has to be true.
I think Peter's one of the only ones who doesn't have his own podcast.
Yeah, not yet, but I'm in talks.
Okay, there you go. There's someone in my town who randomly mentioned how he has his own podcast. He does like this 10-minute podcast there every like weekly podcast, and the other guy was like, "Oh my god, you have your own podcast! Couldn't believe it." And me, I don't even tell people I have a podcast. So he's like, "Wow, I can't believe you have a podcast," and I'm just like, I don't even mention the fact that I've done like 8,000 hours of wasted time with you, Jay.
I mean, we're nearing, what, 500 for the Knicks, and we're in the 300s for this.
I mean, that's more depressing than the coronavirus.
Yeah, that's over 1,000 hours.
Wait, 500 hours for the Knicks. Holy cow.
I mean, 500 episodes, and we went over an hour for like the first 400 before we decided that that's ridiculous. So, yeah, it's a lot.
Anyway.
Well, you won't have to do a Knicks podcast for the foreseeable future, at least.
That is true.
Yes, there are some bright sides.
All right, so that's been an organic opening. So now I'll play the opening song.
Okay, sounds good.
Hello, baby. Hello, nasty. Hello there. Hello. I say hello. Hello, friend. Well, hello, little girl. Hello, my treacherous friends. Hello, operator. The beginning of everything. Welcome back, my friends. It's showtime.
Hey everybody, welcome to episode 333 of The Brink of Sanity. I am Jay. With me is Mark and Peter. How you doing, Peter?
Doing good. How are you guys?
Is this our first episode together, Peter?
I think so. Yeah, I feel like it's quite a privilege.
Peter
I'm pretty sure this is not the first episode together.
Peter did an episode both times I went to Thailand. Peter was on.
Yeah,
that is true. But didn't you do? Weren't you on for the episode that where Peter like left his job?
Maybe.
I don't remember that at all. I think I just blocked out the entire 2 weeks around that period.
Dude, you did an episode with us where you went over what's wrong with your why you hated your job.
Oh yeah. Okay, I remember.
Wasn't Jay on that episode, or was that Bry?
Yeah, no,
I thought it was Bry.
Maybe I remember because I listened to it. I don't know.
Do you guys have any of your archivists on call? Can you just quickly
Andrew in Australia, if you don't have the coronavirus, could you look this up for us? Okay. And Andrew, by the way, Andrew, if you meet a celebrity and he was in Forrest Gump, don't hug him.
Or his wife.
Or his wife.
You know what I was thinking in the beginning, the opening, you were talking about how many hours, 300 hours for this, 500 for the Knicks. If you guys stick it out long enough, all these other crap rando podcasts are going to go away, and you will be able to say that you were one of the first podcasts in 40 years. If you stick to it, that would be pretty dope.
That is true. We've already outlasted 75% of all the Knicks podcasts.
Or in 4 or 5 months, 75% of the people that do podcasts will be dead. So if we survive this, we're just going to be popular for that reason alone.
Yes.
Actually, I think we are one of the oldest Knicks podcasts now.
Yeah.
I don't think there's an older one than us. Am I wrong?
Anthony Walnuts or whatever his name is.
But he doesn't do the show anymore, does he?
I don't know. He's got MSG commercials and stuff now. I don't know what he's doing.
I don't know.
Maybe you guys could change the tagline, the first Knicks podcast, or the original Knicks podcast, or wait for that guy to die and then do it or something.
I mean,
why don't we just say it and then see if he ever challenges us? Because we need a feud.
That is true. Yeah, let's just start saying the longest running Knicks podcast.
Yeah, let's just say stuff until people tell us not.
Like a long time ago, I'd emailed Mark, I think, saying like before we got to know each other a little better, and I was like, I've got some ideas potentially to like, make obviously like improve whatever, that make money from the podcast. But then, of course, I never followed out. But I have an idea that I think you guys will like.
Okay.
And it's along the lines of what we're talking about now. Why don't you just start publicly just saying and change like all the Brink stuff to say the first podcast ever? Just like,
Yeah.
just be like, this is the very first podcast. And just see how long it takes for like the BBC to come after you or whatever, whoever really has that claim.
Not bad.
Yeah.
And we can say things like the only podcast to win an Oscar.
Yeah.
Just throw stuff out there.
Yeah. Just pressure test it. And who knows, maybe nobody says anything and slowly the Wikipedia change adjusts to, this new reality. Because it seems like that's what happens now. Like whatever reality you sort of will into existence, like facts don't matter. You just say it and it is so,
And if you get called out, you just deny it.
We could also be like, we're the most listened to podcast in the world, just for the hopes that Joe Rogan calls us out.
Yeah. Yes. That would be great. We're so happy
claim.
to announce, like, we just beat Rogan. This is incredible. Thank you to all our fans. Just like have a huge like celebration. I'd love that.
We just passed our 1 trillionth download. We now have there are more people that are fans of our show than are on Facebook.
Suck it, Rogan. All we need is Rogan to mention us once and we're set.
Mark Zuckerberg calls us out at a news conference. Really, I don't know why they say sponsored by Facebook. We're not just because they have a page on it does not mean I sponsor or endorse them.
Yes, I like this disruptive approach. But anyway, this just occurred to me now because I think you could credibly say that about the Knicks podcast.
Yeah, let's just say about everything. The Brink of Sanity, the only podcast that is officially sponsored by the Kenyan government.
I mean, I used to do real ones for a while. I was doing real ones. I would say like the longest running podcast on 33rd Street in Astoria or something like that. And
I was saying to Jay that finally we have a podcast that's actually very well named for the current times we live in.
Brink of Sanity, yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of what the coronavirus ... Brink of Sanity. Sounds like it goes together.
Yeah, you could also try to capitalize on the coronavirus panic. You say like the official podcast of the World Health Organization.
Wait, they call us out.
Oh, they're all the way in like France or Switzerland or something. Well, I mean, they'll roll with it. They'll be like, sounds good.
Why don't we just call it the Coronavirus Podcast? And just and with a tagline, with the most up-to-date current events on the coronavirus, and then people download it and they're like, why the fuck is this guy talking about his job?
I tuned in. They were talking about plucking toe hair, and
this guy has ants in his house. What the fuck does that do with the coronavirus?
There was a ghost at one point, and the stick man. I don't see the narrative here.
Where's the goddamn update on the virus? I guess I'll listen through all hour and 38 minutes, but there better be an update.
At the very end, we're just like, yeah, it's still happening.
Still happening.
Or you if you really want to take this to the best extreme, you could record like 3 or 4, like just 4-minute, 5-minute, like factual updates. Like we've got the latest coronavirus numbers in America. Numbers have exceeded 1,500. Blah, blah, blah. And then just have it the ones before that be all of this stuff. So someone just goes back like 4, and they're like, "Wait, what?"
So I had a theory back in 2016 that we should just rename the podcast the Donald Trump Podcast. Just make it doesn't have to be anything about Donald Trump. Just change the name, and our downloads would increase. What if we do the same thing now? Just call it the Coronavirus Podcast. Don't barely talk about the coronavirus, and just do a regular show where the downloads just start going up because everyone's like, "Yeah, it wasn't as many updates as I thought, but I really like Jay."
I like that.
You know what pisses me off? Are you
gonna say Break of Sanity 3 on Twitter? What pisses you off, Jay?
The Donald Trump Facebook page we made for the podcast?
Yeah.
It blew up last year, and it's got hundreds of followers, even though we haven't posted on it in years.
See? Just the name alone does it.
There was a span of a couple months where we were getting like 10 or 20 new likes a day, and now it's It's yeah, I think almost 1,000 likes on there. And we haven't posted since 2016.
It's just the name. That's why we should have made a Donald Trump podcast. That would have done so well for us.
Probably.
I mean, it would be like, Skinhead from Omaha writes in, but it would be whatever. We still have fans. Who cares if they're just into different things than we are? I saw on Facebook, there we are. Our town has like a Facebook page, and this woman wrote, and she's like, "Why is the most discussed subject on this Facebook group like coronavirus?" And then people are like, "Well, this is what people want to talk about." And she's like, "Well, why don't you start your own page then about the coronavirus? I suggest you guys go do this, and we can talk about other topics on here." What the fuck is wrong with people complaining? Like, if you don't want to, what the fuck's wrong with people? Like, even if you're talking about like things that are like matter to people are like, "Why do you have to talk about this? I want to talk about something else."
That's just the times we live in.
Yeah, I mean, not that. Like, it's also like, oh, hey, there's a vast internet, or just how about you look up from your computer and do something?
No, I'm not going to go to a different site. I'm going to complain about this one.
It's not like the administrator, right? It's just like some random person.
Some random person who may or may not live in our town, or I assume live in our town, just feels like complaining about it.
You should let the entire like Brink fan base join that page and just interact with your colleagues until people figure out what's going on.
All 7 of us,
or like start posting links to this podcast. Like on the page, just like, "Hey, everyone, thought you guys should give this a listen." Just your neighborhood podcaster responsible for the first podcast made.
We should just go on every random website and be like, "Oh, recipes.com, I've got a great recipe to tell you." And they give a little recipe and go, "For more recipes, go to Brink of Sanity." Just post it on everything.
This sounds a lot like guerrilla marketing.
We should do some guerrilla marketing besides getting pens, Jay, that no one takes.
I do have a lot of pens left.
I bet you do.
Oh, really? Brink pens or
Nix
pens?
No, Nix pens.
Are they Nix pens? I don't even remember.
Yeah, they're Nix pens.
Okay. So what's going on? How are you guys doing in the apocalypse?
It's really good when you have an anxiety condition. It's really healthy for that.
So I've been walking around like since last night when the NBA is being canceled, and then Tom Hanks had it, and Donald Trump thinks stopping him from coming from Europe, all that shit. I've just had I've had anxiety. I have a pit in my stomach. Jay, is this how you live, John?
Yes, this is my day-to-day existence. Now you know how it feels.
It feels fucking awful.
Not so fun, is it?
Peter, do you have any anxiety issues?
No, I'm like pathologically incapable of anxiety. Weirdly, some people in my family have it. But I'm always curious because, some people I've dated have had it. The girl I like the absolute most, loved the most, had the absolute worst anxiety. I mean, like Jay, honestly, based on what I know about you and my hearing you speak and stuff, she'd put your anxiety to shame.
What was
really
that like?
Crazy.
What was that like?
So as someone who has no anxiety with someone who has literally anxiety over, the answer to the question, where's the remote? It was really challenging and both homicidally impulse inducing and suicide impulse inducing. Because no matter how much we got along, literally, if I made one misstep, one thing, it would send her down this path of crippling anxiety. I'm not kidding about the remote thing. That's an actual example. I once literally brought her a bowl of blueberries. And as I sat on the couch, it bounced and one blueberry fell out and she shrieked and said she couldn't watch the show in peace anymore.
Hey, Peter,
so I was like, what the...
That doesn't sound like anxiety. That sounds like something else. I don't know.
You use the word homicide. Yeah. We're in a safe place, Peter, but did you kill her?
No.
Just want to check.
No.
Just checking. I mean, if you did, totally cool. Me and Jay have no issues with reporting you.
Yeah. No. Nothing that extreme.
Okay.
But yeah, no. It's Jay, have you always had anxiety growing up, or is it something that developed later?
I mean, I was always nervous, but I never actually had anxiety. It was that didn't manifest until, I didn't have my first panic attack until I was in my 20s, my early 20s. So I don't know, maybe just built up as a kid because, you know, I got picked on in school and I was nervous, but I wouldn't call it an anxiety condition.
What was it? There anything that like, or any time period that really, what made it like go off?
Well, I had a pretty bad roommate situation the year after college. So I had a decision to make to either move in with my girlfriend, who was also living with her roommate, who I hated, or move back home. And I decided to move back home. At the same time, my computer crashed. I lost everything on it. Was trying to do a long distance thing, trying to adjust to living with my parents after living on my own for 5 years. And I think it just built up. It happened when I was smoking weed. I had like this massive panic attack and I thought I was dying. And that kind of just set off like, that was my first one. And then the second one was maybe like a month later. And then the next one was 2 weeks later. And then it was a week later. And before I knew it, it was a daily thing.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah, this is a comedy show, folks.
Hey, Jay, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
What's up with your dad? Not in the sense of I'm sure he's a great person, but he had some posts today on one of your posts that I was trying to follow what he was talking about.
He messages me through Facebook Messenger.
Yeah.
And it's kind of just like whatever he thinks of, he writes so he doesn't forget to tell me about it, you know, when we talk. And for some reason, he thought the picture I posted was our messenger. And so he just kept posting on the same picture over and over again. And I woke up in the morning and I was like so pissed. I'm just like,
I was trying to find which one was it.
He erased all the because I'm like, that wasn't Messenger. That was a picture, and everyone sees that. And don't do that.
Because they were like, it was not like it was like there were 3 or 4 comments, and the comments were completely unrelated to each other and unrelated to your post.
It was probably all over the course of a few hours, and like anytime he just said, "Oh, I should tell Jason about this," but for some reason he kept going to the picture instead of the Messenger thing. It was.
It'd be great if you got really confused and just showed up at your work and started just saying stuff, and you're like, "Dad, what are you doing here? I'm messaging you."
He still doesn't have a great grasp on how the internet works.
Yeah, I was looking at that. I was like, what's he talking about? Just like,
it was a whole
friend's
thing.
Mom
I was like,
used her face as the banner on Facebook, and then put her actual picture of her face as her photo. So it's like a small face and a gigantic, huge face. And she thought she was only allowed to upload one picture. So that's it, just one photo.
You know,
it's always fun.
If I was alive for 60 years before this shit was invented, I'd be confused also.
The frustrating thing is he had a computer before I did, like 10 years before I did.
Oh.
Yeah. Just, I don't know. Maybe it's a thing because you learn stuff quicker when you're younger. So, like, even though he got a computer before me, his first computer, he was probably 40. And, you know, I got a computer when I was 20. So maybe
would it be weird in the future? I don't know. Does Zuckerberg have kids yet?
I don't think so. Does he?
He does?
I think so. 1 or 2. Oh, yeah, because he named one. He's got this weird obsession with Julius Caesar. That's supposedly why he has that horrendous haircut. It looks like just like he's trying to emulate Caesar's like haircuts. And I think he named one of his kids like I don't know, like Roman or like Augusto or something like that, in honor of like Augustus Caesar or Octavio. Like, so that's the only reason I know that this fool has a kid or 2.
Holy shit!
That's that's
a reason alone to like. Oh my god!
I'll look it up.
Isn't that a really weird historical figure to like want to emulate?
Maxima. It's Maxima and August.
Oh yeah, you found it.
Yeah. By the way, so I guess his wife. He has like the double name because it's Maxima Chan Zuckerberg. So even Mark Zuckerberg, worth $100 billion, can't get his wife to take his goddamn name.
Hey, you know, just in case.
That's some weak ass shit.
Oh my god, this freaking guy. You know, he was named Person of the Year, I guess, in 2010
for stealing MySpace.
No, Zuckerberg.
Yeah.
Yeah. All he did is steal MySpace.
Oh yeah. But like, what a crazy universe we live in, where this guy, and not like some nun or like some random person like feeding poor dying children in like the Tigris River or something, is the person of the year, like ever. It's crazy.
No, it's well, he did invent a place for people to throw up baby pictures and hate. So good for him.
Baby pictures and hate is a really good description of Facebook.
Yeah.
Did you see that article about the dude? I think it was in I forget, maybe the Atlantic magazine, but he created a Facebook profile from scratch, like deleted cookies, whatever, and he literally just liked Donald Trump. That's the only thing he liked. And over the next week, he got like all these Facebook recommends, like Nazis of America, like Facebook recommends, like fascists killing libs, like just like increasingly extremist groups, like random white nationalists and like Nazis were friending him, or like recommend people you may know. It was super hilarious and terrifying. I'll send it to you guys if you're interested.
Yeah, that's funny shit.
I'm interested in knowing. Good God. Holy shit. Should they just shut down social media? Wouldn't everyone be better off? Would anyone wait for like a week? People would be like, "Oh, I don't I miss social media." Then a week after that, they'd be like, "No, I don't."
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You said earlier, Mark, or I think it was UJ, about like this is a comedy podcast. Like, I think we're right at the point in history or society or whatever where things are like about to get so bad that you literally can only laugh. Like, we're still, kind of aware and engaged right now, and we're not like totally laughing at the insanity of everything, but like give it a couple of days, like we'll just be laughing at everything because it's too much. It's completely bananas.
The best tweet I saw last night was or maybe I saw it this morning, was someone wrote or I guess it was last night, they're like, "Hey, can Billy Joel rewrite We Didn't Start the Fire, just covering the last 10 minutes?"
Oh man.
Holy shit. So how bad, I mean, we're all kind of in an anxiety-ridden mood, and maybe it won't be the funniest podcast, but how bad do you think it'll get, Peter?
I keep thinking like there's some competent people in the government, like bureaucrats and stuff, who've been around, but like we all laughed when this buffoon Trump like redrew the path of a hurricane. It was like, yeah, look, it was going there. Like, this is funny, but now, obviously his sort of like messing around with actual facts is going to have, actual effects. And it's obviously quieted the people in the administration who might be bureaucrats and stuff. So like what should have happened immediately is every single person working at every airport that services like international flights immediately should have been wearing gloves and masks. Like they're like just spreaders and vectors like constantly. That hasn't happened. Some dude just today was like, I just arrived from
in Florida.
Paris.
Yeah. You're talking about something different. Go on.
Well, yeah, no, I guess this dude just like literally hours ago was like, yeah, I just flew in from Paris, or from Italy by way of Paris to JFK and with my wife, and she and I just like strolled right through customs, like just off we go. Like literally not one person said anything at all.
Well, there was the guy that flew to Florida yesterday who got a call. It sounded like he had it, but didn't get the official confirmation. So did the flight. Then it was like, then I got the confirmation I actually had it, and basically infected like the whole plane. I mean, I don't know if everyone on the plane is affected, but like everyone's like, possibly. The guy basically got a confirmation he had the fucking coronavirus, and he goes, "I'll take the flight anyway."
Yeah. I think that's the problem. I think this country is too cocky, and I think it's going to get maybe the worst here just because everyone's so incompetent. It's like, well, we knew about it months ago and did nothing. We're just like, oh, yeah, it won't come over here. And then when it did, it's like, oh, let's start doing something now. And it's
also the countries that are taking it seriously, like Italy's taking it seriously. It still sounds really horrible there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Also, so you guys look at The Onion regularly?
Yeah.
So I feel like The Onion sometimes just speaks the truth. They had a couple articles up there that I was like, oh, this kind of really nails everything. The first one was smart, qualified people behind the scenes keeping America safe. : we don't exist. And then another one was top U.S. health experts. Hold on to your fucking seats because this bitch hasn't even thought about starting yet. And my favorite, and then those are actually my favorites. But then also they had like a myth versus fact about the coronavirus, and it was a myth. Coronavirus could spiral out of control due to the U.S. healthcare system's failures. Then the fact. Coronavirus could spiral out of control due to the U.S. healthcare system's design.
Oh God!
I mean, they should win like Pulitzers for just nailing all these stories.
Yeah,
because they're right.
Have you got how long have you, Mark, been working from
home? So on what day is today? Today's Thursday. Or
yes, like this week, last week, like
long enough that Mark doesn't know what day it is.
I don't know what day.
Can you tell me the first second?
Last night, just I was not that I've been slowly freaking out more and more. Each day gets a little bit worse. It's kind of like you look at the stock thing on your phone, and it could be red or it could be green. Green means things aren't so bad. Red means it's a nightmare. Today, I think the stock market had its greatest drop since 1987. So things are getting worse. And I feel like for the coronavirus, I want a red or green thing on my phone. Because every day the news is like shitty. Can we have I want one day where the news is like, coronavirus, not so bad today. We're okay today. Things are looking up. Then the next day I'll be like, you're all going to die. Hopefully tomorrow will be green. At least it'll some days of it's just every day is yeah, you know how you thought it was bad yesterday? Hold on, it's gonna get fucking worse.
Buckle up.
Well,
buckle fucking buckle up every day.
Even if there were competent people, it still would get worse and worse, But because there are no competent people, it's just going from one shade of red to the next, and it will continue increasing in shade of red before it gets better. That's the trajectory. Just mathematically, statistically, that's what's going to happen. And it's just the curve is going to be more exponentially high because we only have morons running things.
All I want is when I go for the updates for coronavirus, all it should be is a skull and crossbones and just say with a thing that says, guess what happened today. So when did I start working from home? So my boss said earlier this week, he goes, up to you whether you want to work from home. Everyone, I recommend you work from home, but up to you. Someone else from work who I manage said he wanted to come in. So I guess yesterday morning, was it yesterday morning? Holy shit. Yesterday morning, I was like, I'll go in because he's going in. And I had to walk to the train, which is a 2-mile walk from my house in the morning.
Which is 45 minutes.
Yeah, it takes you 38 seconds to do it. A 2-mile walk, Peter, have you ever walked 2 miles and it took you more than a minute?
No, I don't think so.
Jay apparently is the fastest. Did you know Jay has 7 gold medals from having the fastest walker in the Olympics? Because walking is a category in the Olympics, according to me.
It really is, though. It
is a category. Actually, it is. Actually, it's actually a fact. It is a walking. We had that. I did track in high school, and I remember that was a category. It was like walking, and you'd watch the races, and you go, "Hey, why don't you jog?" It's just such a weird motion. Anyway, so I was walking to the train, and so I downloaded. Someone recommended me the most recent, or I guess it had been the most recent Joe Rogan episode. Joe Rogan was interviewing a infectious disease expert. This guy sounded insanely well credentialed. He apparently had worked for both Republicans and Democrats, just like a here are the facts kind of guy.
And then they talked about CBD the entire time and forgot about coronavirus.
Yeah, I expected that because Joe Rogan he'd be like, "Hey, coronavirus guy, let's talk about deer hunting."
All he does is talk about CBD every time I listen to an episode.
It's that or deer hunting or just something, and deer that did come up, but it's always what he's interested in, not what the guest wants to talk about. But the nice thing with it was he was just fucking talk, tell me shit. And that half-hour walk to the train, I was just like, why the fuck am I going to the city? This is the worst idea ever.
Yeah.
That was it was the most disconcerting, this shit just starting. It's going to get so much worse from here. He said the hand washing, that's great. We're all doing that and doing the antibacterial, but they're not really sure that's much of a preventive measure because they think the majority of it is spread through the air. So the hand stuff doesn't really matter. They're not sure that's even how it's transmitted.
Oh, cool.
Dude, in Japan right now. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Jay.
No, I just said, oh, cool. That's it.
Oh,
yeah.
I was saying, I have a friend who's there right now and has literally been sending me pictures of all the, they have signs everywhere that's like, you must wear masks, like always wear your mask, like always, like the government there is saying always wear a mask. And of course here, when this stuff broke out, they were like, don't buy masks. Like, don't worry. Like, it's all good. And as you said, Mark, like there's now more evidence that it is like transmitted much more via like breathing and airborne than it is like hand to face or whatever. And of course, like all the masks are like $100. You know, it's ridiculous.
Well, the guy on the show said the masks, like the regular ones, don't work. They're not effective at all for this. It's just the special ones, whatever the brand is, which you can't get anyway.
Yeah, N95, N99, and P100. Those are like the certifications of the other masks that you know would actually protect you from inhaling this. The only good of surgical masks is if you have it, it helps prevent you from spreading it.
But by the way, I'm assuming everyone is communicating with other people, texting or getting alerts on their phone about what goes on with the coronavirus stuff, right?
Yeah.
Every time my phone I get an alert or a text now, I'm like, what the fuck happened now? My friend texted me before. There's this Italian actor who's in some kind of Italian soap operas. There's a video of him pleading for help. On the bed next to him is his dead sister. They haven't even picked up the dead sister yet, and he's just pleading for help. They hasn't even been able to get tested because they have to test the dead sister before they test him.
Why would they test the dead person first?
I don't know, because apparently they have to confirm that she had it before they'll test him. I don't know. I didn't read the article. I kind of skimmed the top of it. I can't read. This shit, like every time I look at my phone, like everything's always like it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse.
Yeah.
Let's lighten the mood a little bit.
What?
I said let's lighten the mood a little bit.
Please. Peter, what's been going on with you that does not involve a pandemic?
Nothing.
Well, not much. Just preparing for the apocalypse. Well, I teach a class, and
awesome. I hope it's on investing, because that would be another problem. Investing, like stock market. Okay, go on.
No. So no, it's actually like a law class, and I had to be up very late yesterday to finish something for today. And it's like a 2-hour class. And actually it turns out that the school is not like today was the last day that like professors actually have to teach in person. From now on, it's like a tele professor thing. So anyway, I was like dead tired, and on my way to the class, the email went out that was like, today's the last day anyone has to show up in person. We leave it to professors to decide whether to like convene the class today if you haven't taught yet. Because this is like 3:30 p.m. and my class starts at 4 and I'm on my way. So I was like, I can't escape this class because I'm already like on my way and like a bunch of other students will probably come. So I go and I'm like dead tired. And I go through the class and I'm almost like falling asleep through the middle of the class. And then it ends and I like grab my bag and try to beat the students out. And I beat most of them.
Are you like, okay, class is almost, look that way.
Yeah, it was honestly almost like that. But like, I turned and bolted, and I knew exactly who it was. This guy's voice from the farthest like extreme of the room. It's like, Professor, and I just completely ignored it. Like, completely just ignored it and like exited. And I was like, oh God, please help me. So I'm hitting the elevator button, and the elevator arrives, and I go in, and the students are still like making their way. And I don't know, man. This guy must have employed like J-like walking speed. His hand opens the door. Like it was like cinematic. Like the door's closing and his arm goes in and he was like, Professor. And he gets in with me and he starts asking me stuff. And I'm not kidding. I was stuck there for another 45 minutes just talking with this guy.
Oh shit.
What is he just like? Can we cut to that scene? Professor, you kind of left. I was trying to ask you a question. I know there's a pandemic where we're all going to die and stuff, but I was wondering, is there a way I can get extra credit? What if I write a legal paper on the pandemic? Would that be helpful?
Yeah.
Professor, Do you mind if I touch your face with my hands?
Yeah. Oh, and he's a close talker. Like even pre-pandemic, like anytime he had like a question during the break, he's a close talker. So probably in the back of my mind, I was like, oh man, even more reason to bolt. But it was rough, man. It was rough. So I guess that's not that funny and kind of depressing too. But
Professor, is it okay if I kiss you in a very non-sexual way?
Oh my God.
I'm just saying, it's just like we're stuck in this elevator together since I hit the elevator stop button, and one of us could have coronavirus. Isn't that funny?
Yes. Yes, it is.
All right. So
are you working from home, Jay? Are you working from home?
I worked from home Monday and Tuesday, and then Wednesday was back at the office, and I was supposed to work today, and I was like, absolutely not. Last night I sat down. It's like 9 o'clock at night. I'm laying down to read a book. I got my book, and I decided to just check my fantasy team before I read the book. And there's a message in the fantasy group that says the NBA season is canceled. And I was like, oh, really funny. Blah. And I go look, and it's literally canceled. And then I get a message from one of my coworkers that says Tom Hanks has the coronavirus. I'm like, yeah, bullshit. And I look, and Tom Hanks has the coronavirus. And I start messaging with Mark, and then I have a message with one of my other buddies. So now I have like 4 message groups going at the same time, and we're all just exchanging this terrible news. And it was like 11:30, and before I even knew it, it was just 2 hours of exchanging bad messages between everybody.
When Jay said it was this is the last, cause I a lot of times I will start watching the Knick game after my kids go to sleep. So and then sometimes I'll have stuff to do. So sometimes I won't turn the Knick game on until like 9:30, but I'll watch it on DVR. I started watching it, and Jay mentioned how they were winning or something. I'm like, oh, I guess it's a good game to watch. And then Jay said something like, oh, this is probably your last. This is going to be your last Knick game you're going to get to watch. And I was like, because the season's going to. And I thought Jay was being like just joking around, and then when I realized he wasn't joking, I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, so I woke up this morning and I just emailed my boss and I said, I am not coming into the office today.
Have they said you guys are going to work from home next week or the rest of going forward?
Yeah, they wanted us to work tomorrow, but I actually had a planned vacation day anyway. And then next week, they want us to work from home all week, which is good because I had no intention of going into the office again until things get way better, which might be a couple weeks.
My kids, so they're closing the school tomorrow and Monday, and then they said they're going to reevaluate from there. I don't know why they even said they're going to reevaluate. Obviously, the school's going to remain closed. Yeah. But they said they're going to do like some kind of remote learning where the kids are going to take classes. My son's in 3rd grade. Maybe they can do some lessons for 3rd graders. My daughter's in kindergarten. What the hell is remote learning for a kindergarten to be?
You can just teach her to color and
that's amazing.
Take naps.
There's going to be a video where they're like, the video's just going to go color for 7 hours, then come back and report back.
Right.
Like, what the fuck are they going to do?
I mean, just get a few Dr. Seuss books and you'll replace kindergarten.
To what extent are you guys going to quarantine yourself? Are you going to quarantine yourself?
Yeah, I prepared today. I'm
licking every surface I can find.
One of my daughter's friends, she had a birthday party planned for this weekend, and they canceled the birthday party. We're like, okay. And so my wife wanted to just come by with my daughter to drop off the birthday present, and they're like, you can drop it on the outside. We, as a family, we're going to quarantine for the next few months. So what the
for the next few months?
I mean, I guess I don't know if my wife was joking about that last part, but they're not planning on interacting with people for a while.
It's probably the safe way to go, to be honest.
It probably is, but what do you do? I don't even know what to do with my kids when we're here for a day.
That's crazy.
I just think not be able to go outside, not interact. I would go to I will take my kids if it's nice out, go to a park or just something outdoors, just to be in your house just seems like a madness.
Yeah, see, you don't have a PlayStation 4.
Yeah, I guess I don't have a PlayStation 4.
That's a game. If I had a PlayStation,
yeah, it'd be like Jay would be like, "Oh, quarantine? You're saying I did a good job quarantine? I didn't even know I was quarantining. I was just really into my game. It's been 7 months.
I mean, I'm actually looking forward to it a little bit, to be honest.
There should be a new a
finally
spin-off.
Catch up my games.
Yeah,
there should be a spin-off to The Walking Dead where it starts off with Jay being like, "Oh, I can't believe I finally beat that game." He goes outside. Turns out the world's been dead for like months, and like The Walking Dead's everywhere. And Jay's like, "What the fuck did that happen?"
I thought I was just beating Horizon Zero Dawn plus the DLC, and then this happened.
Oh my god! Last of Us 2 comes out soon. That I'm hoping if this thing continues till May, I guess.
And the good thing about these games now, you buy them digitally, so you don't even have to leave the apartment. It downloads right onto your system.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I just click a button and then I have the game. It's like buying iTunes now.
What is what's the game you said was going to be made into a show for HBO?
Last of Us.
Oh, that it was Last. Okay, I thought I did remember that. So Last of Us is supposed to be an amazing. Peter, do you think Last of Us is the greatest game of all time?
It's one of the best games of like the modern gaming era for sure. It's fantastic. It's truly amazing.
Right. I assume you said modern. I'm not going to ask if it's better than Contra because Contra clearly is superior. But Jay said it's going to be an HBO show.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they're going to have
like
the directors of Chernobyl are going to do that.
Oh my god.
Yeah. I know.
I'm already all in.
Yep.
Did you guys both watched Chernobyl?
I only watched the first episode. I don't know. I wasn't in the mood for something that heavy.
Sometimes, sometimes when things are just too heavy, it depends on what the mood I'm in, and just like, I don't really know if I really want to watch it. I know it's good. I just don't really want to watch it. Was it really good?
It was like superb. It's absolutely superb. And it came out, I think, like a few weeks after the horrendous like ending of Game of Thrones.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember being like, oh my God, I like lost faith or whatever in HBO and stuff for a moment. But then I saw that it almost like wiped the disgustingness of the Game of Thrones stuff out. It is incredibly fantastic. And it's only, I think that's like 5 episodes.
I was listening to something on just on a random side note so it was about the quarantine that happened for SARS. When that was a big it was obviously not nearly as big as this, but in China it was a big deal, and they had to quarantine a major might have been Beijing or wherever they had a quarantine, and the government so wanted people to stay where they were that they even made their own soap opera, the film that was basically just broadcast the people in the quarantine to keep them in the quarantine.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe they'll like start pumping out like shows basically just to keep us at home.
I mean,
like I said, I'm already set. I have so many games that I haven't played yet.
What if last night, instead of Donald Trump getting on there and saying a ban from Europe and all this other stuff, he just said, you guys are all going to stay in your house because coming new from Netflix, and just went through the lineup of shows coming out on Netflix, and also Disney Plus has all these shows, and just here's what you should binge now.
So today, the government turned down a bill for emergency sick leave, paid sick leave, but then they also passed $1.5 trillion stimulus to Wall Street. Wouldn't it have been cheaper to just buy every household a PlayStation 4?
That would have been true. I think it was the Fed that did the $1 trillion.
But it's hey, we don't have enough money to wipe out student loans to do Medicaid for all. And then like, oh wait, rich people are losing money? Oh yeah, we found out $1.5 trillion.
That's the exact amount of outstanding student debt, 1.5 trillion.
Yeah.
If that number is right, that is hilarious. How are we going to spend? How are we going to pay for it, guys? Bernie, how are we going to pay for Medicare? Where are we going to get these trillions of dollars? Huh?
Can't do it. Can't do it. Impossible. Funny. Impossible to do it.
Well, in the defense of the government, I'm going to take the government side in this here. I know you guys have your side of this, but the $1.5 billion were given to banks, not people. People are not worthy. Banks are. Okay. Banks don't make mistakes. People do.
Have
you thought about that?
I have not thought of it that way.
Like really, what are we going to do? Like Wells Fargo, we have to make so many fake accounts to get this money. It's just easier to give it to them.
Yeah. Thanks for explaining it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And also like we need the banks. The banks are the worthy people. They're kind of like they're saints, really.
Right. Yeah. What would we do without them, really?
Really, yeah.
Did any of you guys get the impulse, and maybe not you, Mark, is you have a family and stuff to worry about, less me and Jay with you know. But I
Jay,
didn't
Jay has a girlfriend that he has to worry about, right, Jay?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you're more thoughtful. You're more thoughtful than I am. But like the first thing I thought as this stuff started going down, I went on like Kayak, and I was like using their Explore feature to see how much tickets were. Like, you could fly anywhere for like $3 right now, and I gotta say I'm still super tempted. I'm just worried I'll get like locked out of the country like Europeans did. Someone bought a like $23,000 one-way ticket from Paris to New York this afternoon, by the way.
$23,000?
Yeah.
Wow. By the way, for $7, Carnival will just sell you a cruise ship right now.
Yeah. Would you guys travel? Did you get the impulse to like?
So I was supposed to go to Florida next week for spring. My cousin organized this annual trip to spring train to watch the Mets play spring training baseball. Which, of course, we decided to cancel the trip this morning, and spring training baseball got canceled this afternoon. So would have had anything to watch anyway. So, but
yeah.
We were discussing it like, I don't know, like if I was you. It did not have any attachments, I'd probably still go on this trip. Even without spring training, I probably would just go down there and have fun. But with family and everything else and all the other concerns, I'm not going. I also tried to I have tickets from Delta, and I want to I go on the site, and like it's a little confusing how it works. And essentially what I think it is, you cancel your ticket. Up to 1 year from now, you could buy a new ticket and use the the credit from that ticket to get a new ticket. But it's not completely clear if they're going to give you 100% of your money back or what they're doing. You try calling Delta, you cannot get through. It's not like you're on hold. It's that basically they just hang up on you. You go to an automated system, and the automated system's like, due to a higher calling volume, it'll be a longer hold time, and then it just hangs up. Then you call a different Delta number, and it just goes to a survey where they ask you how much you like 1 to 5 would you recommend Delta. Then it hangs up on you. I imagine every customer from Delta is like calling him in the moment. So I understand, but I was like, oh, that's really helpful. I can really call someone for Delta. And then we had Broadway tickets to not that we're going to go out for my wife's birthday this weekend. We had tickets to Broadway, and I'm like, oh, Broadway's canceled. Perfect. How do I get money back for that?
God,
I'm supposed to go to a wedding in Baltimore next week, and that seems like a really bad idea right now.
Would you go to the wedding, Jay, if you were in the wedding? Would you go to Baltimore if you're just getting married in Baltimore?
That's a good point. I don't think I would.
Yeah.
But honey, we're supposed to get married. Yeah.
Dude.
What do you say?
Why don't you go in like a full hazmat suit? Just show.
I mean, if I could get one, I would.
Really?
Yeah, why not? I mean,
if they were selling hazmat suits for like $30 on Amazon, they'd be sold. People would be buying them, like going crazy buying them right now.
I mean, if they're going to be that stubborn to still go through with it at this point, I would be funny enough to wear a hazmat suit.
You don't think people would wear hazmat suits just to like go into the supermarket?
I would show up to work like that to make a point. Oh, you want me to come into the office? This is my work.
I am sure you could get a hazmat suit on Amazon quite easily, but like what you need is the actual stuff. You know what I mean? Like the mask and the gloves and the other stuff that goes on. That's, I guess, the hard thing. Mean,
people are buying out. They're like the supermarkets are selling out of. They're running out of toilet paper. I'm getting to the point where I think people think eating toilet paper is a way to fight off this pandemic.
Hazmat suits are surprisingly cheap.
How much are they, Jay?
$16? That's got to be just a costume.
I think it's a Halloween costume you're looking at. Like on the costume, it's like they're like Jay's like I got one, and like on it is like a picture of Scooby Doo. So Peter, you're the least attached of the three of us. Are you going to? Are you going to go anywhere?
Yeah, I mean, I'm almost certainly going to try to go somewhere. I'm only trying to figure out. Like initially, I thought about Europe. Asia, unfortunately, is out. And so I was like, Europe would be cool. Now that's out. So I'm running out of like places to go. But my guess is I'll probably end up somewhere in the desert in the U.S., like in Utah or somewhere like that, where you can just kind of like fly in. There aren't many people. and just, be alone. Because round trip tickets to like Salt Lake City and like LA and Palm Springs, which are close to a bunch of other parks. I mean, I've seen them for under $100 on American, on Delta, on United. It's completely nuts.
The scariest part, or not the scariest part, the most concerning part of it is the actual flight. Are you scared at all about the flight?
No, not really. I also managed to pick up like literally just when it started. I have a friend who works in construction, and I was like, "Do you have any of these things?" So I picked up 2 of these like P100 masks from him.
Oh,
I don't know, like the middle of January. So I would literally just rock that on the whole airport, the whole airplane. I would maybe even wear gloves just to be like super safe.
By the way, I figured out. I now have solved what happened with Peter and his ex-girlfriend with the anxiety. What happened? But Peter, you have 2 of the masks. I might need one for later. I can't give it to you.
I gotta loan this one to a friend. So yeah, I wish I could like confidently book a trip for like September or August or something right now, but I don't know. It's a risk. You could literally fly to like Brazil or something, and then Trump gets up and says like no more flights from South America. It's like that. Like there's a game I used to play on my iPhone called like Plague. Or like something like that.
Yes, I was playing that until 2 weeks ago, and then I'm like, this isn't funny anymore.
Yeah, right. Exactly. But you
explain the game?
It's pretty much a plague simulator, and there's all these different scenarios, and you have to basically get a plague to kill the whole world.
Wipe out. Oh. You design the virus or like whatever, the bacteria or the fungus, like in the very beginning, and you choose different attributes, right? Like, survives in hot temperatures or spreads through, air. And then like, as it kills more and more people, you evolve it, you mutate it. So it like evades stuff.
On the top of the leaderboard does it just say China?
You start wherever you want. I think I usually start in China though.
Okay, no, I'm just saying like the winning, like it'd just be funny if like you like put your like your initials in at the end and top, and it just says like CHNA.
Yeah, I was playing that a lot, and then this started. I'm like, oh, this game is really not funny anymore.
I mean, you see like all the red dots of people, dying by increasing numbers, and you just are trying to stay ahead of the curve. You don't want them to eradicate you too easily, but you don't want to get overpowered too early, so you can continue your steady mass extinction event.
Right. You kind of want to sneak up on people because they start trying to develop a cure if you do it too quick. So you got to kind of infect a lot of people before you make it deadly, and then.
So are we doing the episode from the point of view of the coronavirus now?
Yeah.
Okay. Are we going to now talk? Now we're going to talk to the plot of the movie Contagion and how that's kind of scary to watch right now. Also,
that's such a good movie.
It's a really good movie.
Or that book that was written 40 years ago that explained that there was a virus that came from Wuhan and infected everybody.
I'm sorry. What?
You didn't hear about that?
InfoWars shit?
No.
No. Really?
Jay, please, Jay, explain.
It was. You ever
By the way, Jay, what do you do at work besides look up random facts about stuff that no one else knows?
I think a lot of people know it. You just don't.
By the way, can you guys focus at all at work right now?
I never focus.
I cannot focus at all. But go on, Jay. Tell us about this thing you that everyone else knows about except for like. Are you just on the dark web, Jay? Is where you find this shit?
No, it was a pretty widely spread story.
I was looking at this article that was linked to the kitty porn photo I was looking at, and go
on. It was a book by Dean Koontz. You ever hear of him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he wrote a book, Eye of the Darkness, like 40 years ago. And it pretty much predicted the entire thing that's happening right now. I'm seeing if I could find it.
By the way, I went to InfoWars just because it's your Jay's favorite site. Great headline. Mayor of Florence encouraged Italians to hug a Chinese before coronavirus pandemic hit.
Oh my God.
What the fuck do they post in this site? By the way, do you guys know that Donald Trump may or may not have coronavirus? And this is not I see this on InfoWars, but this is not just a story. He was exposed to people who have coronavirus, and he refuses to do the test.
All right, so this is from 1980, all right? In around 2020, a severe pneumonia-like illness will spread throughout...
Come on. It says 2020?
It says 2020.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Nope. This is Eye of the Beholder by Dean Koontz. In around 2020, a severe pneumonia-like illness will spread throughout the globe, attacking the lungs and the bronchial tubes and resisting all known treatments. And then there's another paragraph that says, they call the stuff Wuhan 400 because it was developed at their rDNA labs outside the city of Wuhan. This is... isn't that crazy?
That's crazy.
Weird.
By the way, according to the expert that was on the Joe Rogan podcast, that they said it was not. He said there's no way it was a man-made disease.
Okay, well, if Joe Rogan said it, then.
Well, Joe Rogan, the guy and the guest in the show. I can't even believe this. Are you on the Wikipedia page for this or what?
No, that was just excerpts from the book.
Yeah. From his, what's it called? It's from Eye of the Beholder?
The Eyes of Darkness.
The Eyes of Darkness. That's a totally different title.
That's wild. Isn't it sad that like the probable two candidates who are going to be running for president are going to be like literally two senile, anti-science, like crazy grandpas who have no idea what's going on? Like that's the choice.
Both have early onset dementia. Clearly, they do. Like Joe Biden is clearly losing his mind.
Yeah.
The Democratic Party was saying that like a month and a half ago. They were like, Joe, we can't have him because like he's really losing it. And now they're like, I'm all in on him.
Oh yeah. What could possibly go wrong, right?
Yeah.
Like it'll be pretty great. I am looking forward to the debate on Sunday, even though they apparently changed the format to allow Joe Biden to sit for 2 hours.
Yeah, Jay, I just saw on your Facebook page, Jay, you had a new format allows Joe Biden to sit down and go to sleep during the debate.
Yeah, it's just him and a lazy boy asleep while Bernie's standing up at a podium.
Why are they trying to hide him? Now they're saying like they're going to try to limit his exposure, like limit the gaffes, let him sit down. Like, if you think he should be president, don't fucking put kid gloves on him now.
I don't know. It's like if he's in that bad shape, like how is he going to look 2 to 3 years from now?
Or 2 to 3 months from now.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Guys, we have a pandemic and 7 months before the election, 7.5 or 8 months. Like, this guy, I honestly don't think he even makes it past the summer. At the rate he's going, like he's going to be eating like I don't know, like cheese out of his fucking shoe at the debate with Trump. Like he might just be doing like goo goo gaga the entire damn time. Like there's no, he's toast.
An argument for Biden, I say Bernie to stay in, just for the fact that Biden may prove like his dementia may really show up, and like you're like, okay, well, I'm the only candidate that has his brain still, so you better keep me in this.
I think that's why he's staying in.
Or like, you know what? You have these people who are over 70. I mean, including Trump, who are all like meeting with all these crowds. One of them might get coronavirus, so you'd stay in for that reason alone.
Well, it's like the people are like, why doesn't Bernie just drop out? He's down by 150 delegates. And if you look at this same period in time in 2008, Obama was down by 300.
But wasn't that all the super delegates?
No.
Also? Oh, really? He was just down to Hillary at this point?
Yeah, he was getting stomped.
Similar. Mm-hmm. By like May of that year, Hillary was basically like out. So they actually turned to Hillary and they were like, it's like May 10th, the convention's in like a few weeks. Isn't it time to drop out? And do you guys remember what she said?
I'm assuming no, but I don't remember.
Well, she was like, well, I mean, it's still early. You remember Bobby Kennedy, right?
I remember her saying that shit. Yeah.
Like, go on. So
yeah.
like, I think Bernie should literally just be like, I mean, you remember Bobby Kennedy, like when he's asked about it, he's just literally just be like, you never know. Someone might come for Joe Biden.
Oh my God. Do you guys want to do questions? You guys want to do some questions?
Yeah, let's do questions.
Okay. What's up, Jay?
I was just going to say real quick on the Facebook page, facebook.com/Brink of Sanity. We've been talking about our Brink 64 tournament for years now. It's going right now. So you can vote. I have a bunch of
Unlike the NCAA tournament, our tournament is not afraid of the coronavirus.
It will not be canceled. I made the first couple matchups way too long by accident, so they're still up. The only one that has ended is video editing versus Jay moving from New York, and video editing won.
Do we have any ties?
We do have a tie right now.
Maybe Peter can help us settle the tie. What's the tie?
Panic attacks versus toe hair plucking.
Peter, what do you think?
Oh, easy. Panic attacks.
So you can vote on that now on the webpage. There's still 8 days left because I really fucked that one up. And
what do you like? I'm gonna. Okay, the polls are gonna last as long as the coronavirus does.
I like I said, they have a weird way of putting it, and I screwed up for the first few matchups, but now I'm doing them all for 4 days now.
You're like, sure.
What do you guys think?
Sorry, go, Peter.
No. It just occurred to you. What do you guys think the final body count will be from this, globally?
Oh, okay. We're going more fun topics.
Yeah, we keep going. It's like a gravitational force.
So if you're talking about our death pool, I'm gonna choose letter E, all of the above. By the way, I was sort of an official in Ohio said 100,000 people in Ohio have it. And then they asked him well, what do you mean? He's like, well, it's 1% of the population, so that would make sense for what the fuck are you? Don't just randomly put out numbers out there. Well, I mean, statistically, that should be shut the fuck up. By the way, is it just the middle? You don't hear about these cases in fucking Kansas. Why are they only on the goddamn coast? And I know people travel and all that, but should we all go to Kansas right now?
I mean, it's easier to spread in the cities because you have all the international travel, and I mean, it'll probably get there eventually.
Yeah. Okay, so are there any emails?
50,000. That's my guess. Email.
We got 50. It's probably going to be what number is now? It's 4,000 now.
Yeah.
4720.
Okay. Are you keeping a chart on your arm?
He's got an app.
No, haven't you guys seen the Johns Hopkins map? It's crazy.
Oh, is there a John? Where do I go for this?
I'll send it to you.
Okay.
I don't want to talk about this anymore. It's going to be a lot. I probably underestimated it. So Lorenzo writes, "Hey guys, here's this week's role play. Jay's been experimenting with various chemicals to kill this black mold once and for all, and he finally found the winning formula. He is just scrubbing the final traces of black mold out of his apartment when in bursts Jay's landlord, which will be Peter, and the CEO of the Department for Disease Control, which is Marc. Apparently, Jay's landlord has been using Jay's apartment as a petri dish to grow this special type of mold that will save mankind, and it was supposed to have just ripened beautifully, so the Department of Disease Control has come to harvest it."
Did he actually say Peter? No, just how he just knew Peter beyond, or you changed Brian's name to Peter?
We'll never know.
Okay. He's quite a super fan. So
for real.
I don't even know what the hell we're supposed to be doing, but Jay, are you cleaning black mold?
Yes, I'm cleaning. I'm just about done with the black mold. I came up with my own solution.
Lorenzo, please send in a skit every week. I freaking love these skits. I'm not being sarcastic because I love skits. Okay, I'm bursting into your apartment, Jay. I'm here from the World Health Organization, and I think your black mold's a pandemic.
You're correct. That's why I'm getting rid of it.
Okay, but we're going to stop you because pandemics are allowed in this apartment. Paul, grab him and cuff him.
What? You just completely destroyed the entire thing.
What was it? I don't know what we're supposed to be doing.
It was supposed to be a cure, and you're supposed to be happy about it. and stop me from killing it. And it's Peter, not Paul.
We're acting. I changed his name for the skit.
Sure, we'll go with that.
Okay. So I have no idea. I couldn't pay attention past that.
Okay,
I
Lorenzo,
was waiting for that mess a death count. I don't know.
Lorenzo, next week, less words so Mark doesn't space out halfway through. You got to dumb these down because Mark's attention span is that of a squirrel, and he just can't follow these.
I'm really like I'm like Homer Simpson being put in witness protection. Your name is Homer Thompson. Hello, Homer Thompson. I think he's talking to you. You guys remember that episode?
I do, yes. Okay, Facebook questions. Sorry.
Suki writes, so many questions. Any comments about Suki, Jay?
Let's hear these questions.
That's her whole question. There are a lot of questions from there, but Suki, that's what Suki wrote.
Okay, let's hear the questions.
Paul, what do you think about Suki's comment?
I like it.
Sorry, Paul. Sorry, Peter. Sorry.
Why is he Paul now?
Because Paul, there's a lot. Paul wrote a lot of questions, and I keep looking. I'm staring at Paul's name while I'm talking to Peter.
You did this with was it Jansen too? You called him like Rob.
He called him Tyler Durden at one point.
Yeah.
So I have early onset dementia.
Yeah, I'm going to start calling you Joe Biden.
Holy shit! I should be critiquing. I should be like, Joe Biden, you speak for my people.
Unbelievable.
Okay, Peter. Do you think Suki would make a good boss? Okay. Paul. Okay, are you ready, Jay?
Yes.
Okay, Paul, not Peter, writes, what was one thing growing up you really wanted? I really wanted a high-end remote control car. Those are kind of badass, by the way, those high-end remote control cars. I saw someone recently that had one that can go like 50 miles per hour. It's pretty awesome.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah, they were running it up and down our block. And it was like, it was doing pretty awesome tricks. And like when you see, it's one thing to be in a car that goes 50 miles per hour. Watching a remote control car go 50 miles per hour, you're like, holy shit, that's fast.
It's like a bullet.
Yeah. And he's like, and if you want to get one, here's what you can do. And I'm like, I just want to watch yours. I don't want to get the thing.
Yeah.
But
do either of you guys have drones or anything?
We had a drone, like a $20 drone. We got my son for like one of his birthdays or Hanukkah or something. And it was kind of cool. It was actually kind of fun to play around with and fly around our house. We never really took it outside though.
I have one. I haven't used it yet.
Is it a cheap or an expensive one?
It's like mid.
They are really actually pretty cool.
Yeah, they're super fun. Things
I wanted growing up. There was always some fad that I wanted. One year, everyone had scooters. I don't even know. There was always some like toy that was out, or I think Nintendo was out for a couple years before I had it. I would say nothing like major.
What about you, Peter? Not Paul. No, I'm talking to Peter, not Paul.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of this stuff that I like, I really pined for, like a Sega Genesis. Like I got. I'm trying to think if there's anything that I ever thought was like really genuinely missing, and it's hard to think of anything that like I really wanted. Oh, you know what? One thing, I like when I was like 9 or 10 or something, I started being interested in like photography. My dad had a like nice like old camera, and I wanted something like that. But
so do you remember playing the recorder in the elementary school?
Yeah, the most annoying instrument ever.
Yeah, so my son actually has one now. But so you're supposed to everyone's supposed to bring in like $7 or $8, and you get like a black plastic recorder. My parents said, "I'm not giving you $8 for a recorder. Well, we have a recorder from when we were in school. We have this like wooden piece of shit from the 1950s. You're gonna go to school with this instead." So I really wanted a regular recorder. I had to go to school with a 1950s recorder to be like, "What the fuck's that?"
I can't believe they're still doing the recorder in this day and age. My school, my elementary school, is now doing ukuleles, which is way cooler.
Oh, how do you even know that?
That is way cooler.
When I had my high school reunion, I went back to the high school just to walk around, and one of my classmates was pretending to be the superintendent, which I found out later. I thought he actually was. And he gave me like a tour, and he told me about all this inside stuff. And then I found out later he's just like kind of crazy, and it had nothing to do with it.
He's kind of awesome, actually.
Oh my God. Awesome. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, the recorder, like, you never, why did they do that instrument? Why did they do that instrument? You don't see a recorder in any actual band.
It's the only thing it's applicable to is the flute and like, or the clarinet, and like, those are two very limited instruments. It'd
be like weird if you're like Eddie Vedder was playing and he's like, okay, now I'm gonna play the recorder and sing a song.
I guess for those Jethro Tull enthusiasts.
What do they actually play? What is
he plays like a lute, or I don't know. He plays some sort of like flute.
I guess it's like a really. I also find my son, I think he only practices a recorder at times when he's just to annoy his sister. And then she starts screaming at him to stop playing. And I can't be like, oh, well, he is practicing.
It's a good strategy. Hey, yeah. What InfoWars theory do you think would exist for why the recorder is so commonly played at American elementary schools? Like, what's the InfoWars theory here?
Probably something around the Jews.
What?
I'm just saying. I'm thinking InfoWars. It's usually, if you go in the comment section, somehow the Jews are always to blame. It's the Jews, Obama.
Either that or recorders don't exist. It's all. It's a secret brainwashing tune that they're doing to make you vote Democrat.
Oh, that's amazing.
By the way, Alex Jones from InfoWars got arrested on a DWI this week.
This week?
Yeah.
No shit.
Yeah, it's been a very eventful week this week. Yeah, so he got arrested on a DWI. He insisted that he took the breathalyzer multiple times and was under the legal limit. So he already made it into a conspiracy. What they don't say is that if you are at 0.7 and the legal limit's 0.8, it's up to the policeman's discretion whether he arrests you or not. So knowing Alex Jones, he failed the sobriety test and then got arrested. So there's your little bit of InfoWars for this week.
Have you ever watched any portion of his show? Like actually watched it in video, audio, the whole thing?
Yeah, he did a live Reddit show last year. And he was so fucked up. He was squinting out of one eye. You know when you get really drunk and you have to close one eye to see straight? He was doing that. And he was slurring and he started crying multiple times. And it was the biggest shit show I've ever seen. And his two co-hosts are sitting there trying to pretend that this complete mess isn't happening, and oh, it was amazing.
It's almost it's almost like performance art. You know what I mean? It goes to the next level. It's just incredible.
He knows
imagine
exactly.
One day there will be the National Gallery, right? In Washington D.C. There'll be a video screen 100 years from now, just playing one of his shows on repeat. You know, like a piece of art
about the gay frogs.
Yeah.
I mean, he always has a spin on it, though, because then the next day he said he was on, he had a shoulder procedure and he was on painkillers, and that's why it wasn't that he was blacked out drunk on air. And it's he always has some weird spin on it, and all his followers believe it.
I mean, I've tried listening to him. I tried listening to him on Joe Rogan, and he's just unlistenable. His stuff is so fucking out there. You're like, what are you talking about? It's just, you can just keep saying, what the hell are you talking about?
Yeah, the one on Rogan started off with politics, and it got into aliens from a different dimension within 10 minutes.
Yeah, and you're just what the fuck are we even talking about? Does he need medical help during the interview? I don't understand what's going on right now.
But then he's I have secret info that you're not aware of. Do you want to hear it right now? And Joe Rogan will be yeah. He's we're colonizing Mars with space aliens. I have the secret intel. You don't.
And Joe Rogan doesn't call out anyone. He's on anything. He's like, really? I didn't know that was happening. That's crazy.
Yeah, exactly. Joe Rogan goes along with everything. He's like, oh, really? Well, you're a reliable source. Okay, cool. Have you ever tried CBD?
Exactly. You should eat deer meat. I love deer meat, but tell me more about the multiverse.
Oh my God. And the store, the InfoWars store, I check that out every once in a while to see what they're selling. Shit like DNA Force Plus, Brain Force Plus.
That stuff must be going through the roof right now for people that are fucking.
Oh, dude, Super Silver. Haven't you heard of Super Silver?
Yeah,
it was the same thing.
It's like poison, basically, right?
Well, there's one
Jim
that's
Baker was selling.
There's one that's like iodine, which I guess you could have a little bit of it, but his iodine has like 10 times the most dangerous level for you. It's like it really is just poison.
Doesn't that silver stuff isn't there something about like they can turn your skin actually blue if you take too much of it?
I'm sure there's a lot of blue info warriors out there.
Yeah. Anyway, next question. Jaime writes, hey guys, just wanted to see what you guys thought about everything getting shut down for the Knicks. The Knicks were so close to making the playoffs, and this happens. LOL. We're gonna do a Knicks up show, but what do you want to say? What do you guys want?
I want to say that the Knicks were in a 4-way tie for the second worst record, and decided to win a game on what turned out to be the last game of the season.
Last game.
And which might cost them 4 spots in the draft, which is the Knicksiest win of all time.
Yeah. So you're saying even in the even during the coronavirus, the Knicks are the real loser?
They still found a way to just completely embarrass themselves. Yeah.
I think they had the third worst record, by the way. It was tied for third, not second.
Either way, it was bad. That one was bad.
Yeah. Peter, what do you think?
I mean, you guys, I'm obviously a huge Knicks fan too, but I didn't know that game, I wasn't watching, I just checked the score, and I guess Vince Carter hit a 3 or something in the dying seconds.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that game plucked us out of the worst record, but it seems totally true to form. That one random ass game that Hardaway decided to score 40 points in the goddamn last game of the season to move us up however many spaces. Just it never fails to surprise me.
Did you see the Gobert video?
Oh, that's crazy! Yeah, did you see the Gobert video where he touches all the microphones?
Yeah, touching everything.
So for the people who aren't following the NBA, there is this NBA player named Rudy Gobert, and they had a rule because of the coronavirus that players had to sit 6 feet away from reporters. So to hear the players, they all had to put their recording devices in front of the player. So Gobert, being hilarious, decided after his interview that he would touch every single microphone and recording device. And then he left and then got tested positive for the coronavirus. And that basically shut the entire NBA down. So.
Did you hear that CP3 had on the bench a few minutes earlier? He saw a bunch of the or maybe right after this, saw a bunch of the players sitting around, and he walked in and busted into the huddle and was like, "Hey, what's wrong with Rudy? What's going on, guys?"
No, I didn't see that.
Well, but Gobert wasn't even in the building. They said he didn't come to the facility, but they were all still quarantined. I was watching post game, or I don't know what I guess it wasn't I guess it was the post game where a reporter was there, and he's just I don't know what's going on here. We're all just kind of stuck here. There's no explanation what's going on. I don't know what the deal is. Gobert was not even here, but we're all stuck here.
Well, Donovan Mitchell has it now too.
No, I saw that Donovan Mitchell has it now. It's So how soon? There are 3 of us here. We all know a decent amount of people between us, just between people you're friends with and just acquaintances. How soon will it be when one of us will know someone personally that has it?
Now.
Do you know someone personally that has it?
Yeah.
Oh. Can you say or not say?
I have I guess, I don't know if it's a cousin or it's sort of a cousin. In Westchester. Westchester is, really bad. And yeah, he has it.
So not long.
Yeah, not long.
Yeah.
Wow. How old is he?
He's like.
Is he like
29, maybe?
Older?
No, 29, 30. Next question.
Well,
okay. Andrew writes, should listeners be allowed to vote on the Brink bracket if they've listened to the previous? Should listeners be allowed to vote on the Brink bracket if they haven't listened to previous 332 episodes? That's a good point.
So basically, only Lorenzo and Andrew can vote.
I would let them just do the whole bracket themselves and just go with their results. Paul writes, if you had the world's attention for 30 seconds, what would you say?
Oh, that's good. That's like a good interview question.
Yeah.
I have the entire world's attention for 30 seconds. I would say you should check out the Brink of Sanity and the New York Knicks podcast. They're two of the best podcasts. They're the longest running podcasts in the history of time.
I mean, I would mention how they had no money for student loans and healthcare, and now they do because the rich people are losing money.
Yeah.
Start a revolution.
Start a revolution.
Yeah.
Okay, Peter, what do you got?
I think I would say something like really weird and cryptic to like launch like a million different weird conspiracies all over the planet. Like some weird like poem or something.
What was that like that Trump tweet that didn't mean anything? Which is random letters. Yeah, Kivefe.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Something like that. Just something weird.
Just three random lines and then just stare at everybody for the next 45 seconds.
Yeah.
Try to fill the full minute, asshole.
Everyone, I want you to go to Infowars.com/store and get yourself some super silver right now. Thank you, America. Thank you, Earth.
Paul writes, what's everyone watching currently? Anything you recommend? I just finished the whole series of Veep. I really liked that a lot. I thought it was a really funny show. And there's two shows I'm going to start soon. I'm going to start the what's the Chapo drug show? What's the Narcos? The new season of Narcos I'm going to watch soon. And the Jim Carrey show on Showtime. The season 2 just started, or a little while ago. I think that was a pretty good show.
It's good.
Yeah, I watched the first. It's called Kidding. I thought the first season it's kind of weird, but I really enjoyed the first season, so I'm gonna watch the second season. What about you guys?
I'm watching 60 Days In. They take 8 real people and put them in real jail, which I find interesting. I watched The Expanse. It's a sci-fi show.
Oh, did you finish that yet?
Yeah, I thought it was good.
Okay.
Impractical Jokers I still watch. And
are you just going to say every show you've ever watched now?
No, I mean, I watched one like today. And
what about you, Peter?
I watched that. It was like an Apple TV show called Mythic Quest with the dude. Who plays Mac on Always Sunny.
Was that good?
Yeah, it's. I would say it's like super uneven, but I thought it was promising enough it was enjoyable for the most part. I feel like that it'll be better in its second season.
Have you watched any of the other Apple?
That was pretty good.
Have you watched any of the other Apple shows?
Yeah.
Did you? I watched the morning show.
I tried watching.
Sorry, what were you gonna say?
I tried watching that, and I got like it by like the middle of it. I was like, I can't. This is too bad. So I just stopped. Like it had so much promise. I just thought it was just. I didn't know what the hell was going on by like episode 4 or 5. So I dropped it. Let me know if it gets like better.
It was okay. People are saying like it was the greatest thing ever. It was just a solid okay. Did you watch?
Yeah.
What I was going to ask you, did you watch the one I was kind of intrigued by, but I haven't watched yet? Was the M. Night Shyamalan show?
Yeah, I watched like the first 5 or 6. It's pretty good. I thought it was pretty good and creepy.
Oh, okay, so worth watching. Okay, I'll check that out.
Yeah.
Anything else you're watching?
Curb. I'm just going through again because I actually haven't watched the last like several seasons, so I'm just doing a full like rewatch, and oh my god, it's so good.
Paul writes, is the coronavirus considered mass hysteria or the real deal?
I think it's the real deal.
It does seem that way. Andrew writes, is the podcast going to be canceled because of the coronavirus?
Well, this episode is your answer.
Jay, will you agree to keep doing the show when you have the coronavirus?
Sure.
Paul writes, will we survive the coronavirus, or is this it?
I think we'll survive, but I think the U.S. is going to get hit hard because we're stupid.
Doesn't seem that way. Jaime writes, Jay, you needed to start doing a doc of the coronavirus by getting the coronavirus and seeing the effects of what happens, and you will get out of work. So a win-win. What do you think, Jay? Plus, you can use your video editing skills.
It sounds like a great idea. Thank you.
Peter, do you think it's a good idea for Jay?
I'm all in.
Andrew writes, why doesn't Mark use his job as a recruiter to get Jay a CPA job, or is Mark's job just a Jewish scam?
Mark recruits for your Cars for Kids.
I unfortunately I don't do recruiting for. I only do recruiting for lawyers, not for CPA. I would love to get Jay a job. Peter, can you get Jay a job?
If you want to move to the Midwest, sure, probably, or at least help.
Jay, will you move to the Midwest for a new job?
I hate my job so much. I'm actually debating this.
It would get you away from the coronavirus for a little while, also.
How racist is your area?
There's a lot of
because I have an Asian girlfriend, so
yeah, no, there's zero of that.
Okay.
Stuff, but if you're interested, I could send you some materials.
Interesting.
Jay, if you move to the Midwest, we will see each other about as much as we see each other now.
Yeah, exactly.
You'll have to fly in for one Met game a year. Is that cool, Jay?
I think we can manage that.
Assuming we have Met games or airplane flights, or we're alive. I think we have kind of run our course here. Peter, anything else you want to add?
No, thanks for having me on. Nice chatting with you guys. I'm sorry the circumstances are not that funny, but I think this was still pretty funny.
Yeah, I had fun. A lot more fun than the actual coronavirus.
Yeah, I mean, we try to make it as upbeat as we can. Obviously, this is weighing on our mind, so it was, we did what we could, folks.
Yeah, this is By the way, when is Work Hates Jay coming out?
Well, now that I have some time off, maybe I can start working on that.
Does your company think you have time off? When they say work from home, you're like, I have some time off.
No, I mean, I have tomorrow off.
Okay.
Thank you for joining us, Peter. It's a pleasure. We'll have you back on sooner rather than later, and hopefully under better circumstances.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on, guys. Talk to you again soon.
Talk to you soon.
Everybody go to facebook.com/brinkofsanity. Vote on our polls. There's 6 of them up right now. And so we'll probably be back next week. thebrinkofsanity@gmail.com. You can email us there if you want to send us some emails. Compete with Lorenzo. All right.
Right. And remember that we're the longest running podcast ever. And Jesus Christ himself endorses our podcast.
All facts.
My love.